Ecotourism is now a strategy to promote conservation, especially in outstanding natural locations, including protected areas, where we have forests, timberland, mangrove areas, coral reef, all these endowments that are very fragile from human impacts. So ecotourism relies on the integrity of the natural environment to be able to thrive. And you need to have a community that will run those enterprises and benefit out of the arrival of tourists. And you need to have environmental education as well. You need to have that mechanism by which any visitor that comes in will leave learning something new and having the appreciation of whatever the community is doing, protecting the natural endowment for everyone.
Is there a plan or a strategy that can be inputted to different provinces, or is it specific to each and every location that you have, that it has to be tailor-made, that cannot just be copy-pasted from one end to the other?
Plans need to be site-specific, but there's like an underlying principle behind all of these plans. First, you need to have a balanced development, meaning that you don't only focus on the economic development of the place, but also take into consideration the environment. In fact, a lot of people are confused about sustainable development. They say it's too highfalutin, especially to local communities who don't really understand what is sustainable development. But if you translate it into our language, you know what it is? It's likas kayang pag-unlad. We don't have to explain. We will develop, mag-uunlad tayo ng base sa kalikasan. So if nature is already telling you that you've exceeded the limit, then you have to intervene and you have to, step back.
Yeah.
And don't keep pushing it up to the point that it will not function anymore.
Let us focus on the highfalutin word that you mentioned, to use your term, because I love that term. Let's make it less falutin, which is natural capital accounting.
Okay.
That is a term I have not heard of a lot. Could you explain what that means in regards especially to ecotourism and sustainable ecotourism?
Nature is so complicated. And so most people only attach economic value to it. Like, how much is this tree in terms of board feet? How much fish can I catch, on a daily basis? We don't look at the intangibles or the invisible part of nature, the services that they provide. For example, filtering water, flood control, providing fresh air, habitat for birds and other animals, We don't put value in those things. Even research, for example, and education has value.
Yeah.
Nature can teach us a lot of things. So natural accounting will provide us that lens. And this law that just passed actually is a global milestone because it's going to be very good for us because now we have a way to look at nature from a different perspective, putting value in things that normally we take for granted.
Yeah.
So it will give us, not just me as a planner, but also communities leverage towards telling their mayors, telling their decision makers that we need to have policies because we no longer have fresh water.
Now, for those wondering, that bill's the PENCAS bill, the Philippine Ecosystem and Natural Capital Accounting System. How important is bridging that gap in the efforts to create sustainable tourism?
Sometimes, as they say, if there's no awareness, you need a law to create that awareness. So with this law, there will now be more appreciation of nature and all the goods and services that it's providing us on a daily basis. But at the same time, take people accountable for the destruction that they have been contributing to the environment, because there are like human activities, industries, economic activities that are so destructive to the environment that it's as if we don't have the next generation to use that environment or to use nature. LGUs are very powerful because they're mandated to take care of the environment and they are mandated to take care of the people. But the challenge is really it's a balancing act. Sometimes if you take care of people too much, at the expense of the environment, then you have a problem for the next generation. But if you're taking care only of nature and not people, sometimes people will go hungry and they have no recourse but to destroy nature.
Looking ahead, because this obviously is just the beginning in so many ways for ecotourism, what's the next big step para sa'yo?
To me, as somebody who has been involved with communities for so many years, I think we need more involvement from the marginalized sector, from fisher folks, from farmers, from those living in rural island communities who are in the midst of all this God-given gift, but who don't have the capability, to come up with products for visitors who are coming in troves. I think we need to capacitate them. We need to teach them how do you do it. So it's not only the tour operators and travel agencies who do benefit out of those knowledge. We need to transfer that capability to them. So I always believe in community-based tourism, which is also synonymous to ecotourism.
Is there a way that our viewers could reach out to you, possibly, or Blue Water Consultancy, to learn more about ecotourism and, of course, to help promote sustainable ecotourism?
Well, yeah, I enjoin everyone to be part of the effort to protect our natural heritage. We cannot only think about this generation. Think about your children. Think about, what will they enjoy? Because for so many years, I was a diving instructor. I was enjoying the marine environment. And so looking forward, I would want my children and my grandchildren to enjoy the same kind of environment that gave me so much joy and career. And so it is our obligation to be stewards of these endowments and gifts that are now at the receiving end of impacts that are caused by not knowing the value of nature. So you need to educate yourselves and create an attitude that will be more caring when you travel instead of just posting. There's this trend nowadays of people posting, reels and videos of themselves in these wonderful places, but these places are not ready to receive tourists. We have to start thinking about that and be more responsible about our posts. You can post probably, but don't mention where it is, because people go to these places and the places are not ready, and the LGU is not prepared for the impacts. Or you go to the next one, you start destroying places, as you move on from place to place. So I think we need to have more awareness and be more responsible when we travel. And
I hope that this interview will help disseminate all that information necessary. And of course, thank you very much for all your great work, Ms. Chen Reyes-Mencias, joining us here today on Weather HQ. Maraming salamat po.
Thank you for this opportunity.